Hello! 3 days of not running my truck, and let's see how it starts. These P38s generally don't want to go, do they? So 3 days. I wonder if battery's flat. With
everyone's got different premises. It really
turn radio 4 off. I'm hip. Right. So what I'll do is I'll triple glow it. Triple glow plug the thing. Watch it not start for video now. It starts absolutely cock on every time. And we're ready. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. 100% vegetable oil. No in tank pump. What a beast. Right, so your cable tied to my wing mirror, to my interior mirror at minute. So footage might be a little bit wobbly, but I'm gonna do a bit of freedom. Bit of freedom after 3 days, and I'm a bit freedom drunk, so I'm gonna be setting off and just doing a little bit of a tour at area, and just to show you how well my truck's running on vegetable oil, 100% by the way. Ooh, boing. Oh my days. Stop it swinging about. I don't know what I'm gonna tie it to, but got to the steering wheel. Would that work? Would it, Joe? They up his fun something down here, say they. Not as thick as I am cabbage looking, than ours. I want to just do it like that. I think it's legal anyway. Cable ties. A British vehicle owner's best friend. Hey, look at this now. We're just going to have loads of proper springy, bouncy action here. It's going to be boinging all over chuffing oil. This might be a fail, this. Hey, oopsie, look at that! It's one of them modifications that work. That's worked a treat. Oh, we've got some fluctuations. What a monstrosity this is. Wait till you see this. What I would like is a link to a foam bracket that's good for filming inside a car, because as much as this modification to me rear view mirror cam / phone has worked, what I need something a little bit more permanent than this. It looks horrendous. It works though. Let's see how it accelerates down here. So it gets up to the speed limit really easily. Not really a chance to get a foot full of throttle for any extended period of time. There's a nice long gap here. I might go back up to that roundabout and see how we perform up this hill, because that puts it under a little bit more load, doesn't it? So I have to be careful going around this roundabout, especially on camera. Yes, we've got a nice gap now between ambulance and top of hill. So we're in third. We've got up to 50. And that's 60. Can't really go any faster on here because get into trouble. And there's people walking. Last thing you want to do is cause a problem in it. Right, let's get me centre one. Speed limit. Settles down to a nice cruise as well. It's amazing that this is all on vegetable oil. There's not many vehicles that you can rely on like this to run on vegetable oil this nice. I've had a few that I've done. My favourite was I had Corsa combo vans, you know, the old Corsa B shape. They run great on vegetable oil fuels or thick viscous fuels. However, they do need an heat exchanger because you get a really lumpy idle on 100% oil. When I fitted an heat exchanger to mine, I've had 3 of them now. When I fitted an heat exchanger to them, the lumpy idle, it disappears after a mile. And they are absolute cracking little motors, them 1.70 Isuzu engines to run on vegetable oil. So I would say that's my favourite engine out at smaller ones. Showing you the abomination that is my filming bracket. So that's where my phone sits. Just slide you into there. Yeah. Just slide you in to that doodah. Certainly not over-engineered. So I've got bonnet up on my P38, and I'm going to give a quick tour at stuff that I've done to it to make it run vegetable oil, and just little bits and bobs, just to make it simplified so that you can fix it outside at road. Right, first things first. You've probably noticed I ain't got the original filter. That's disappeared. So the original filter housing got ridiculously fragile fittings that you have to be so careful when you're messing about down near the filter, and guess what? I wasn't careful. Anyway, I got another filter housing, but I thought, stuff it, I'm not going to be fitting that. So I went out and I got one of these things that in veg oil world they're known as a sausage filter. Now a lot of you will be screaming. You'll be screaming and saying, "Oh no, Michael, that don't filter enough." Well, simple answer I'm going to give you is, my oil's filtered that well that, as you can see in there, there's no lumps of crud or out like that. It's filtered good enough to just rely on that little sausage filter. It ain't got an in-tank pump, and it ain't got a strainer either. So it can just suck up, fuel up the little pipe, and the injector pump down here. This beast is that's doing all work. I've relocated air filter. This rag here. This rag is just stuffed up there, just in case, because depending on whether or not you get stuck in a really cold climate or you get stuck in a cold snap, you might need on vegetable oil. You might need to just get a shot of ether to get it to whiz over and fire up on vegetable oil. So what I do is, instead of squirting easy start straight down its neck, I squirt it onto the rag, and that works as a wick, and it's much more kind to your engine doing it that way, because it doesn't just ingest raw ether. So as you can see, I've got 2 batteries as well, just in case you have to crank it for any extended period of time. You know, you can't be too careful. You can see it back there. I tried a facet pump and it didn't really work that well mounted there, so at some point that's going to be mounted underneath. I'll talk about that later. Just here we have a one-way valve, and that's after my heat exchanger. So it's a little bit like spaghetti junction down there, because what I've used for parts is all recycled stuff out of skips and that. I generally don't like buying stuff. It's not that I'm skint, just that I'm a tight ass. So what we've got here is we've got a T-piece and a one-way valve. That T-piece is where you return from your fuel pump. So let's get in here somehow. So you return banjo fitting there, that thing that comes back round, and you can see just in background here that there's a Jubilee clip. That Jubilee clip's fastening a piece of hose on, and I'll point it out in a minute. And that piece of hose comes back round here, and as you can see, it goes straight back into that T-piece. So that's what's known as a looped return in the veg oil world, right? So the looped return sends the return back from the pump, back to the feed line into the pump. So it's got a loop. Benefits of this is that it reduces how much fuel is coming up the feed line. It can spend a lot longer in your heat exchanger warming up, because that flow through there is a lot slower, so it can pick up a lot more heat. Another thing is, it takes loading off of that filter up there. It's only got as much fuel coming through it as the engine uses. Now usually on a full return system, it's got the amount of fuel used plus the return volume, which is quite a lot. and it can put a lot of load on filters not designed to flow veg oil. These leak off pipes back down the that goes down a pipe and back down the return line back into the tank. So the only thing that's returning back to the tank is the leak off pipe flow. So it's pretty simple. It's got a looped return, no in-tank pump, no strainer in the tank, just a small filter that flows enough fuel. It comes down one pipe, and then you've got your looped return. I've got a non-return valve that stops fuel flowing back out at fuel pump and back to the tank. Now these things, if you're to buy that new, they're around about $860 plus shipping from America, so it's not really feasible to go out and get one of them brand new. But BioTuning do a really nice small version of it that does job as well. You don't have to go over the top like I did, but reason I've gone over the top is because I got it for free. So that heat exchanger is just teed into that elbow there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in parallel with heaters at some point, because it only works when heaters are on, which ain't right good, is it? So I'm going to be joining it in to this pipe here, like so. It's going to have a T-piece, and because that had just an elbow from that metal pipe at back of engine, so I'm going to have a T-piece in there and a T-piece in this hose here as well. 22mm Yorkshire fittings fit absolutely bang on, so that's a good place to get your fittings for your heat exchanger, especially if you use the BioTuning one. So I think the water side of that heat exchanger has got 16mm pipes. So what I've done in past is made a T-piece using Yorkshire fittings, because can you see that bit with soldering? That's an absolute excellent bit to grab onto your pipe, you know, when you Jubilee clip in. So what I've done is I've used Yorkshire fittings and then a 15mm reducer, and then my pipe all fits onto that nice and snugly. Yeah. So yeah, I've got to do a little bit of modification there, because basically I run out of Yorkshire fitting tees, so I had to get it fitted, because I haven't put a drop of diesel in this thing. It's all run on vegetable oil. So I had to get it hooked up some way, so that it run nice in winter. Now that it's getting a little bit warmer, I need to have a little bit more control of a heat inside cab. So that's gonna change that area. However, I've just explained how that works. So that's just an overview of what's under my bonnet. It still runs on air as well. It's a bit of a minter, this truck. It's got this pseudo knackered look about it, which is pretty good. It's very solid as well around body mounts and stuff on chassis. It's pretty cracking. What were I going to say? That's another thing I mentioned. I was going to be putting an exhaust on to a few people, and here's why. That's my exhaust system at the minute, so that needs to be sorted. And if anybody's got any ideas where I can get a front pipe that's decatted, I would be very grateful. I know I can just put a piece of straight pipe in there, and I'm well capable, but if there's one off at shelf that I can buy, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? So, alright. Thanks for watching me. I'm sure I'll be putting some other videos on. I might do a mashup of me filtering some veg oil, just so that you can see how to do that as well. See you later.